had Christian friends that their belief is slightly different from majority Christian believers here. So I had to come here, live with Christians, so I learned about them, right? I feel like people are so afraid of saying anything because they're afraid of like judging someone based on the look or lack of knowledge. But there are some severe consequences. Like, you don't need to be afraid because you're gonna offend someone. You're looking at us. You're seeing the consequences of being silent. Or you're seeing the, like, literally when we are asking our parents, why did you do that? Why did you make that revolution happens? And even Shah is saying majority of people stood silent because nobody ever would have imagined that they lose the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
The concept was so funny and so bizarre that people were
Mm.
like, it's not gonna happen. For sure it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like
Eh,
who they were, like those who made the revolution possible. Similar people like pro-Palestinian people right now in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
going out, acting crazy, thinking they're so liberal, they know what they want, causing destruction, fear, and for what?
Yeah. It's crazy because like you said, I think it's such a foreign concept to them. They really don't believe that there will ever be a time where someone takes their monarchy or their democracy or whatever it is away from them, which I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me because I don't know, because you look at the history throughout mankind, and really, I don't know. Maybe it's a lack of knowing history. I don't know. It could be. They just don't know the historical patterns of what happens when tyrants start to take over countries. And I think maybe the education system, maybe in the West here recently, has purposefully dumbed people down and kind of doesn't want them to be able to pick up on the patterns. Do you think that's true?
Honestly, it's like the most thing I've seen in every society, especially in a younger generation. They have no idea about history. Like when
Yeah.
you're asking the simplest question, they have no idea about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you read the history, you can, not specifically, but you can at least guess what's gonna happen, you know? So, excuse me. So, for instance, in 2009, so many people went to streets, the Green Revolution. We were the first nation showing, okay, we can use our phone cameras to show the evidence that people are different from the government, that this is the brutality, this is the killing actually happening. That was the first time Islamic regime started to slaughter people in the street, in the public. Sorry.
You did.
And there were still some people uh, didn't do anything. And we needed, like, whoever was in the street needed the unity, needed the whole country to rise up against the government, right? And when you read the history, you realize that that wasn't the good time. That was the beginning of the time. And to me, minimum, like at least for me, what we are going through is so similar for me again to the great French Revolution. It's like started from some people understanding the government is not working, but it took almost 18 years for them to overthrow the government.
Yeah.
And exactly it happened the time when the economy collapsed back then.
Yeah. I've heard other people compare it to the French Revolution too. And the French Revolution was there was a lot of turmoil there. It was multiple revolutions in one revolution over a span of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost the same, like similar. Like you can call it Green Revolution, and then you have bunch of movements, and then woman life freedom kind of
Yeah.
movement until now.
And yeah, I do think this is the final battle though. I do think like this will be the time because it has to be. I don't see how it could not be. I don't see any other time. It feels like everything is perfectly stormed and lined up on purpose for now to be the time that it gets overthrown. But
Absolutely.
and one thing that I think that I notice a lot about it too is that, like you were saying, where you were talking about if they collapse inside the country, then the whole world collapses. So I feel like what's happening there is absolutely imperative for what happens every single other place in the world. The Middle East and Asia and Europe and America and the whole world is affected by what's going on with the Ayatollah. And how anybody could I don't understand how anybody could think how they can't see the big picture there unless they're on the side of the Islamic regime itself, yeah?
Um, you mean in the politics or like in general between
Just
people?
people.
Honestly, again, like there are so many people. Like for someone as an Iranian, every single day you have to wake up and update yourself about the world. What's going on? So you can make a decision about your future, about your tomorrow, about your moves today, right? But in general, when the people of the world, you are talking to them outside of the Iranian community and those political humanity activists, they don't know. Like, for instance, specifically, I'm talking about 2009 because back then there was like Taliban was defeated, uh, Saddam Hussein was defeated, and they like these two countries were not that significant problem. You had Hezbollah, and they didn't have that huge weaponry power. Hamas was still a terrorist proxy, not a government. They didn't have the specific power. And that was all. But after that, you see Taliban became powerful, Muslim Brotherhood, and so many other proxies raised in Iraq. Houthis became a thing in Yemen. ISIS became a thing. Hamas became so powerful. Hezbollah became so powerful to the point that in 2020, I think, they exploded part of Beirut, unintentionally or intentionally. So you see that how it expands going outwards. It's not like when you read about 1979 revolution, every Western politics were saying, okay, we're gonna send mullahs over there, so we're gonna have most likely for the purpose of uh cheap oil or wheat or anything else, and the problem gonna be stay there. They never would have guessed that this problem can go out.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's expanding. Right now they promise that they're gonna make the world Muslim, and now you see it's happening. And the people don't like when you're talking to them, they don't follow the pattern. They don't watch the news every single day. They have no idea. Like they see pro-Palestinian movement and they're like, "Oh, poor people." Yes, they're being killed, children, this and that. Some of them intentionally ignore the rest of the world. They claim that they are humanitarians, but they absolutely don't care about other humans. And they don't even care about Palestinians in Palestine. They just
Yeah.
care about the movement itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But those who are not like black and white, when you're asking them, they don't have any interest. They don't find any benefit to follow the news,
Hmm.
to see the pattern. Like when I'm talking to my friends that they're not like political or they're not Middle Eastern or anything, when I'm telling them the severity of the situation, they're like, "Oh, okay. So hopefully it wouldn't happen to us." I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. I noticed that a lot in life, really. When I talk to that's exactly how it is. And it's very frustrating, really. You're just like, you almost want to punch them across the face sometimes. Like, you guys cannot, you've got to wake up and see what is going on here. So yeah, I totally relate to that's for sure. But what is that though? Why? Because sometimes people try to tell me, well, those people just think differently, and that's just the way that they are, and some people think about stuff. But on the other hand, I feel like there has to be a level of like, you have to know what's going on in the world. If you don't, you're gonna pay a price.
They're living in a good life and they think the life gonna stays the same, you know? It's like, for instance, people in Canada for the last 7 years, they started to complain about inflation. And me as an Iranian, I'm like, yes, the inflation is bad, but you don't know the inflation.
Yeah.
You're complaining about something. Yes, it's not good. That's happening every 2 years. But
Uh-huh.
it's not like in the span of a week.
Uh-huh.
Like you go buy a cup of coffee, $2 this week and $4 next week. This is crazy. This is scary. So when they don't see that much of a change in the long term, they don't look at a bigger picture why the inflation is happening.
Uh-huh.
They only want to blame some specific person. And it's actually working most of the time for
Uh-huh.
political purposes and for those who wants to gain from a chaos. It's most of the time working. And to be honest, I wish I lived in a world that I didn't need to update myself about political stuff,
Yeah.
honestly. Because at some point you're always stressed out.
Mm.
You're like, what happens next? So we need to prevent this, but why nobody's doing anything about it? You know?
Yeah. And how are you supposed to do something about it? Like, because you got to get everybody to understand about it before you could get them to do something about it. And half of them don't want to understand about it. And you could get in this loop if you're not careful.